So if you're this far in the module, pat yourself on the back, way to go, way to achieve that extra credit. So furniture plans aren't something that you'll do in every office. This depends on if you offer a furniture specification and if this is something your client wants you to do. Yes, I could have placed this on my annotated plan. However, that would have started to muddy things, and on my annotated plan, I have notes for you as well, my teaching notes, and it just got too muddy. Some firms I've worked for will have their own separate furniture plan. Some may add furniture tags within their annotated plan. But for all intents and purposes here, let's go ahead and create its own unique plan. And as always with these videos, we start with our view template, and I'll have you copy that. So I'll simply click once on this. I'll navigate down to furniture plan, and I'll have you copy this. So now's a good time to pause and double check that all of these components match. So I'll give you a few seconds to do that. If you need to duplicate a plan, a good place to start is always architectural plan, and you do that by clicking here. You can duplicate, rename, make sure these settings match, so I'll give you a moment to do that. Once you do that, let's go into VG Overrides Model, and let's go ahead and make sure we have all of this information the same. So let's make sure Entourage is unchecked, Mass is unchecked, Parts and Planting is unchecked, and Topography is unchecked. Okay, and with annotated categories, quite a few things will be unchecked here, so let's be careful when we analyze this. Door tags, unchecked. Elevations and entourage tags, unchecked. Reference lines and reference planes, unchecked. Room tags, unchecked. Scope boxes, section boxes, and sections, unchecked. Wall tags, unchecked. Okay, and so now that we have that out of the way, let me show you how to tag furniture. So I'm going to delete that. You simply do TG, T for Tom, G for Gerald. Okay, hit escape, and then I'll just click on that, and I want my leader line. So I click up here, and I just drag that off, and that looks great. And I want them to align nice and neat like this. And if yours doesn't have the correct number, just go ahead and add that. All right, just type that in, and it will ask you if you want to update every instance, and you hit yes. That is totally fine here. So that's really all that is. That's all there is to it with that. The other big component here is I have what I made, what's called a furniture schedule. And I'd like you to copy this information one for one, and I'll walk you through exactly how I did that. So to make a furniture schedule, the first thing that I'll do is I will go up to View, and then underneath View, I want to hit Schedule. And I'll hit Schedule/Quantities. And underneath here, I'll navigate down to Furniture. So I understand this portion is complex, so please go ahead and follow along and pause the video to make sure you're following. So I go down to Furniture, and I click OK. And then here it's going to ask me what areas I want to add, my available fields. So I'm actually going to copy what I have here. So these are my available fields: type mark, description, model number, manufacturer, comments, and count. And let's go ahead and start with type mark. So we go down to type mark, which is the number of the tag, and I hit add. Next, we'll add description. Scroll up to D for description, add. After that, model number. It's just called model, which is fine. I hit add. Then I want manufacturer, add, comments, add, and make sure to do these in order, and then count, add. You can see here I have these in row. All right, boop, 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 and I hit OK. All right, you can see here all this information you'll actually have to write in yourself, but a few things I want to show you, all right, because everything right here is duplicating. Do you see it has every instance of F01? I don't want that. I want it to look just like how I had it prior, where it just shows, one of these and how many are in the project. So please follow along closely, and I'll show you how to fix that. So to fix that, I go over here to sorting and grouping, and I'll sort by type mark. And then I want to hit itemize every instance. I want that to be blank. And watch this. Boom, beautiful. And then you'll go in here one by one, and you'll add all of this information by hand. You're welcome to copy and paste from my example. And again, these aren't real furniture products. These are things I made up, okay? And these are all things related to Slick Marcosian's our library, Gil Miller School of Business, Calvin Rampton's the name of our building, Brune Industries, all of that. And then here I'd like you to just click once and then make these all capital letters and then make that as well. And then to get that in to Revit here on our page, we just go up to View, View, and then you'll type in Furniture Schedule, and you'll hit OK, and you'll go ahead and add that. And then now, do you see these little triangles? You'll wiggle those left and right till your columns look like mine. So go ahead and do that. Schedules are a super important thing to learn in Revit, so I'd like you to take a moment to do that. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out. If not, I'll see you in the next one.